In the part 1 of getting started with Blender, in this part we will cover the basic tools, and in the next part we will cover more advanced tools, so be sure to check the second part when it's uploaded to learn more in-depth tools. I can assure you that, after watching both parts you will be confident with the software and start creating your models. And it will just take 20 minutes of your precious time. Use the link in the description to download Blender. It's a free and open source program, meaning you don't need to pay anything to download it. Once on the website, click on the link and follow the instructions to download it. Once you open the Blender for the first time, it feels like sitting on a pilot seat. Meaning there are menus, and in the menus, there are sub-menus, which will make you frustrating if you don't know anything, and eventually you'll quit the program. But it's not happening today. If you're familiar with the 80-20 rule, it means you don't have to learn everything at the beginning. The tools we'll discuss in this video will help you get started, and you learn and build a muscle memory over time. If you watch till the end, we will learn to create this render right here. It's maybe not the most exciting thing in the world, but hey, you will learn something from it. It's always a good practice to save your file before you proceed with it. Then after a couple of steps you should press Ctrl+S to save changes to the file. This is an essential step, so you don't lose any progress if the Blender crashes. This is called the viewport, where you'll see your main objects being manipulated. This is the toolbar. It includes tools like move, rotates, and scale, which we'll go over in detail later in this video. Then we have this toolbar here. It is object-oriented tools and properties. We'll go over the most important ones in a second. Then on the top, there are workspaces. These are built-in workspaces in the Blender to ease out the specific task you're doing. Collections are like layers, if you are familiar with Photoshop. This is the main group, and within the group, there are objects which are currently in the viewport. You can toggle their visibly on and off in the viewport. To create a collection, right-click and select a new collection and rename it. You can move objects to it and delete them when necessary. A quick disclaimer, I'll be using a lot of shortcuts in this video. I have a key presser on, so you'll find every keystroke I press down here. Also, I'll be using a mouse, because it's so much easier to work with a mouse. Let's cover the basic navigation. To orbit around an object, hold and drag the middle mouse button. To pan, press and hold the shift key and drag the middle mouse button. Use the scroll wheel to zoom in or out. To select an object, you just right-click on it. Notice it also got highlighted in the collection. And hold shift to select multiple items. And press A key to select all. Press Alt+A to deselect all. To delete an object, press X on the keyboard and select delete. To add an object, go to the top and select add, and here are the default shapes you can add to the Blender. You can also press Shift+A to add it from the same pie menu. To add an object to a particular place, you have to select the 3D cursor and move it at the desired place, and press Shift+A to add an object. To reset the 3D cursor, press Shift+S and select cursor toward origin. To duplicate an object, press Shift+D and move the mouse to the desired location and right-click. You can select the move tool or press the G key and move the object to the desired location. You can press X or Y or Z to move in the particular X. You can select a rotation tool or press R on the keyboard to rotate an object. You can press X or Y or Z to rotate in the particular X. You can select a scale tool or press S on the keyboard to scale an object. You can press X or Y or Z to scale in the particular X. We have a few modes over here which help to deform an object. Each mode has its specialty, but we will use the object mode and edit mode most of the time. You have to learn other modes only if you want to create organic shapes. Edit mode allows you to edit individual corners, edges, and faces on an object. You can select corners, edges, and faces from the top. Extrude tool allows you to extrude an object in any direction. Select the face, and with Extrude tool and drag the gizmo. Or set values in the bottom box before deselecting. Select the face, and the Inset tool or press I on the keyboard to add more detail to the object. Select drag and press right-click when you are done. Or set values in the bottom box before deselecting. To bevel an edge, you have to select the edges. And select the Bevel tool and drag the gizmo to add a bevel or set values in the bottom box before deselecting. Loop Cut tool allows you to add cuts to the object. Select Loop Cut tool or press Ctrl+R, and you will notice the yellow line on the object. You can right-click or drag the mouse wheel to increase the number of cuts. When you're done, right-click or right-click drag on the object. Press GG to slide the edges once you created them. to select objects from all sides. You can enable the X-ray mode from the top. This allows you to see through the object, and you can drag to select all the edges, faces, or vertices. To add color to an object, you have to use something called materials. Materials help you define the color and materials of an object. First, you have to go to Material Preview from top to see the effect. Then go to Materials tab and select and change the color. After that, you can tweak its properties, for example, how much metallic or rough a surface is. To add a specific color to the face, you have to select it in the Edit mode. And in the Materials tab, press plus to add new material and click Assign. Now you can add a different color to your object and adjust the parameters the same way. Then we have the HDRI, which simply means the environment lighting. You can select different HDRI from the drop-down list. They won't render in the final image, but give you the lighting you want. There are 2 render modes in the Blender: EV for fast working, Cycles for better lights and shadows, and Workbench. Ignore it. We will change to Cycles from now. There are 4 types of lights in Blender. These are all self-explanatory. You can add lights according to the scene and adjust their properties. So if you make it this far, I want you to create this scene using the tools we learned. Once done, you can follow along, or you can download it from the link in the description and follow along. To render anything, you must have a camera in the scene. You can add the camera and adjust its position the same way as an object. Then press Ctrl plus number-pad 0 to see through the camera and go to Properties by pressing and go to View and lock Camera to View. So you unintentionally don't come out of the camera and So this was the Blender basic overview. In the next part we will cover more tools and learn Blender in detail. Also follow me on Instagram at cg.runner. I would love to see what you came up with. Subscribe for more, and I will see you next time.